So I'm going to be talking today about a couple different things. And like she said, you know, creativity comes from everywhere. Everybody has some source of creativity in them. I think we kind of talked about that last week with Jeremy's presentation, which was an excellent presentation and made me realize in some ways I am a perfectionist. But anyway, you had to be here to understand that. So what we're going to talk about is the way technology has changed and the way that all of us have an opportunity to use that technology to get a message out, whether it be for us personally, for business, or for a cause. At heart, I'm really a journalist. I went to film school back in the day and have a degree in broadcast journalism and history. So when I was looking at putting this thing together today, I really thought about how did I get to the point where I am now. So I think to better understand, you know, what I'm doing moving forward, because this is also about #TheMag, the teen magazine that we're putting together as well. I want to give you a little background about myself. So I grew up in New Braunfels, Texas, which is home of Schlitterbahn. I don't know, it's probably the #1 water park in the world for many years. And I am a mighty New Braunfels unicorn, so don't laugh too hard. But that was my high school mascot, and we're not a myth, but a legend. So our other motto was "We Believe," right? We were really good in football because we had to be, you know. But, you know, that was really where things took a turn for me. I decided not to play football my senior year, which in Texas is really, really bad thing. And I had to fill a course credit to graduate, so I took a new broadcast journalism class that they had there. Just fit into my schedule, and I ended up falling in love with it. And that led me to going to a small school in East Texas called Stephen F. Austin State University. First attended film school there, but ended up getting a degree in radio, TV, and history. They said, you need one more class to be a double major in history, so I said, why not? But that was really instrumental. I worked in the athletic department as well, in the sports information department, creating media guides, doing reporter stuff, and really also enabled me to produce a football coaches show on the local ABC affiliate. So that's kind of where I started getting my feet wet. Once I left college, I went into pro sports. My whole family is in sports. My uncle played in the major leagues. I managed the Chicago Cubs back in 2003. My dad played. So I figured if I couldn't play, I was going to work in the industry. It was something that I enjoyed. So I started off in hockey, minor league hockey, working for the San Antonio Iguanas, worked briefly with the San Antonio Spurs, and then became the PR director for the San Antonio Missions, which was the AA team for the Seattle Mariners. And during this whole time, a large part of my job was putting together programs, writing articles for websites, conducting interviews, setting up interviews, doing those kinds of things. And it was a lot of fun. It was a roundabout way to use my degree, but more than anything, I really learned how the industry worked and learned how media worked. So in 2001, my daughter was born, and she was 6 weeks early, and we lived in Texas, and I continued working there. And in 2003, she was diagnosed with autism. So we had family members out here in Phoenix, and Texas does not have a very good system for special needs. In Arizona, if you don't know it, is actually ranked #1 right now. So we have the #1 special needs, you know, department, I guess, in the country. So we decided to pick up the family and move out here. I ended up going into sales and left my career as a PR director. And in 2004, my son was born. And we found out a year and a half later that he was also autistic. So I always thought that, you know, the next child I had would have to take care of my daughter when she was older and me and my wife were gone. So unbeknownst to us, our son is nonverbal and severe autistic. Our daughter is higher functioning. So that kind of led me down the path where I am now. Worked for a few more years in sales. And in June of 2013, the kids changed schools, schedules changed, And I had to make a change, and I became a stay-at-home dad. Back in 2003 when I left sports, my dream was always to start some kind of media company. So while I was being a stay-at-home dad, I was looking at the time that I had. I also saw that it was the perfect opportunity to start my own media company. So that kind of brings us to the thought that we are all creative. You know, we all have a story to tell. You don't have to be a journalist. You don't have to have, you know, a Pulitzer Prize-winning idea. You don't have to be the most polished person in the world. We all have an opportunity to take an idea that we have and get it out to the public. So one of the things I wanted to share was something that Itai actually sent to me when I first started coming to Gangplank. This is a speech by Kevin Spacey. This is just a short clip of that. But if you get an opportunity, go check out Kevin Spacey's The James McTaggart Memorial Lecture. And it is very, very impactful and really speaks about the nature of media in general and where it is right now, but also talks about how we're all creative. So I'm going to play that now.
Was he a professor at university that cancer
Kevin Spacey?
No.
I suspect
I'm not sure.
that talent, more will be said about talent this weekend than maybe anything else. I mean, we all know that that's what it's always been about, creative talent, right? And I'm not just talking about emerging talents, because talent can come from anywhere and anyone. Although usually there is a focus on young talent, age is not a barrier to great stories and great ideas. Talent comes in all sizes and shapes. And we
So as he said there, it doesn't matter how much experience you have. It doesn't matter, you know, how old you are. Whether you're, in my case, you know, the people that I'm looking to work with are teenagers. Doesn't matter if it's senior citizens, whatever the case might be, we all have different experiences that we learned from life on a daily basis. And that's why I think it's important that we don't discount people's ideas. Because just because they're different from yours doesn't mean that it's wrong for them or for a certain group of people. I know when I left film school, and I left you know, that area of doing things, film on a daily basis, I always thought, well, if I got enough money to go buy the right camera, the right equipment, you know, I can get back into doing documentaries, I can get into doing all the things that I love to do. Really, with the advances in technology now, you don't really have the excuse anymore that once I get the right equipment, I'm going to put my stories out there. The technology that we have now is better than the technology we had back in the 90s. And when I'm talking about that technology, I'm talking about in your cell phone. The pixel rate, you know, everything that it's shooting at now is a lot better than we had in the past. And the perfect example of that is BlackBerry, okay? Probably nowadays, probably not looked at as one of the best phones in the market. Lost a lot of users over the past few years. But this is a movie shot by Robert Rodriguez, only with his BlackBerry. So this goes to show that you don't need to have a $20,000 camera to shoot good video. So, sure, there's some lighting and there's some different things that are going on there, but it just goes to show that even with your BlackBerry, your iPhone, whatever you may have at hand, you can shoot something that you could show anywhere. That could be shown on a big screen, that could be shown on your computer, it could be shown anywhere. So as long as you have a good idea, or if you have an idea at all, you can go out there and film it as long as you have some kind of smartphone that has some kind of video recording feature. So what a lot of people are doing now with this, whether it be for business, whether it be for a cause that they believe in, whether it be for their family. I can tell you personally, there is a 5-second snippet of my grandfather that my cousin took. And it's only 5 seconds, but it's the only piece of video that we have in the entire family of my grandfather, whether he's speaking or whether the case might be, that's not a still picture. So that is incredibly valuable to me. Just think about these capabilities are in your hand, in your pocket right now, sitting on your desk, whatever the case might be. You can go out there and shoot something that may not seem like it's a huge thing right now, but 10 years from now, 15 years from now, it's going to be incredibly valuable to you. So what people are doing with videos, whether they're taking on their smartphones or whatever the case might be, is they're taking their idea, their passion, and turning them into causes and disseminating that out to the world. We have platforms now like Vimeo, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all of this which has the capability of playing videos. And probably the best case of this right now is the Ice Bucket platform, or the Ice Bucket Challenge, I should say. If you think about it, where would this be right now without video, the internet? Last time I heard they raised like $500,000 or something like that, maybe more. I'm not 100% sure, but
22 million.
oh, 22 million.
It's past that even.
So yeah, so that's even, if something like this didn't exist, if people didn't take advantage of an idea that they had, 94 million now.
Wow.
So $94 million that has been raised for a good organization through the use of social media, a lot of times people's cell phones, and just the willingness to put their work out there. So I thought this was an interesting one just because of the person who's involved. Hopefully it doesn't make me play a commercial. I'm sorry if it does. It does.
Always do sober what you do drunk.
Sorry about that.
I'm here to join the people bringing attention to Lou Gehrig's disease by taking the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. I'm going to challenge 3 more people: Elon Musk, Ryan Seacrest, and Chris Anderson of TED. Consider yourself challenged. You have 24 hours. Good luck.
I think in a lot of ways that right there shows the power of media. Something that grew from one person who put that on the internet. A few more people started doing it, became viral, and now you have celebrities, people that are highly regarded in the business community that are, stepping up to the plate and furthering this good cause. So it just goes to show, what is it something that you're passionate about that maybe you could put together a minute, 30 seconds, whatever the case might be, whatever your message, however long it needs to be, what could that do for you, but more importantly, what could that do for the things that you're passionate about? So I think that's one of the things that creativity and the technology that we have available has done for especially organizations. So what I'm going to talk about now is what I'm personally doing, especially with help from ETA. Like I said, when I left baseball back in 2003, one of my dreams was to start my own media company. And when I came to Arizona, I saw a TV program, and there was nothing wrong with the TV program, but it was a teen show called After the Bell. And it highlighted things that were going on in school. Great concept, I thought. The only thing that I was disappointed by was the fact that during the time that I watched it, and I watched probably 3 different episodes of it, I never saw one teen be really involved. I never saw, the interviewers seemed to be middle-aged. And it was really their opinion on what was going on. So my thought was, if we're going to have a teen program, why not have a program that is produced by teens, giving them a voice? And that's why this is really called #BeHeard. You know, as far as the say, we can't see down at the bottom, but you know, everybody, as we talked about either earlier, has an idea, has creativity. A lot of times they just need a platform or the know-how to put it out there. So my goal, and with the help of Ita, as I said, is to produce both an app, which is a magazine, an interactive magazine, a web series, and a website that fully encapsulates that idea. So we're not there yet 100%. We'd like to get more teens involved. But it's really going in the right direction. I think that, you know, over the next few months, we'll definitely see an increase in what's going on. But just to give you an idea of some of the things that we're doing with hashtag, here's the table of contents. We ended up having a great opportunity to go to Phoenix Comic-Con and interview some great people there, as well as some teens who performed in the last X Games. One of the top skaters in the world, her name is Alana Smith. She lives in Mesa, Arizona, and she is an 8th grader right now. And one of the great things I found about interacting with these teens, and I think you'll find it as you interact with Noah or Jake or teens that are around anywhere that you're at, they're good kids. You know, a lot of times I think that the generation below us gets a bad rep, maybe because they don't always have the opportunity, right, to have their voice heard. I know that Jake and Noah especially have helped us with where we should go with the website, what games we should be reviewing, things of that nature. I just think that teens, really everybody out there, just needs an opportunity and somebody to ask them, hey, what do you think? I know one of the great things, thinking about it, especially when we were designing the website, was we asked Jake to help us out. And he's like, well, what do you want us to do? What do you want me to do? I'm like, I don't know. What do you want to see? He goes, well, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, this, you know, if I do it, then it's from the standpoint of somebody who's 38, 39 years old. What do you want to do? And I found, whether it was him or when we interviewed the skateboarders, Alana and Jagger, we asked them what did they want, you know, their shots to be. What do you, if you were going to look at a magazine, what do you want it to be? What do you want their profile picture to be? And that blew, every teen that we've talked to, that blew their mind, just because they're used to always somebody telling them what to do and how to do it, instead of allowing them the creative freedom to express themselves. And I think in the end, that's really what hashtag is, and that's what our goal in moving forward is to really give them a platform to be, you know, to be free to express their views. It may not be my view, it may not be Ita's view or whoever's view that is in our demographic. It may not even be the same view from their peers, but it's an opportunity for them to get their creativity, creative ideas and their viewpoint out there. So one of the things that we're doing is we have features. This upcoming September, we interviewed a band called Straight On Till Morning. Some of them are high school students, some of them right out of high school, and excellent people as well as musicians. So maybe I'll just scroll through here. Hold on a second. So here's Jagger Eaton, just to show you an example of what we're doing. This is a video that Ita put together when we were doing a teaser for the X Games.
I'm Jagger Eaton. Lana Smith. I'm just so thankful, you know, that I get to be here in Austin, I get to be here with all of my friends. The first time I dropped into real X Games Mega was the first time I went to LA. I just stay calm in my head and I just say, don't die, and go. I think to myself, you know, kids are in school right now, you know, studying for a test, and I'm in here busting my butt and just working hard and having fun. I mean, I don't know if there's anything better than that feeling where you're just working hard and having fun.
So as you see there, one of the, probably the, you know, another one of the big takeaways that we took away from this is, so these guys here, Jagger has been on Rob Dyrdek's show on MTV. He's one of the big names in all of skating and has a contract with DC Shoes. I mean, 50 Cent knows who he is, and you know, they've interacted and everything else. But he's the most down-to-earth kid that you'll ever see. Extremely respectful. And that, like I said, I'm always amazed by the character that a lot of these teens have, and that's probably the biggest thing that impresses me. So another guy that we interviewed is named Dominic Frangella. He is a senior this year. He's also out of Mesa, and he is the #3 martial artist when it comes to bow staff in the world. And just incredible. You know, another quality individual as well. Now this is one of my favorites. They're called Straight On Till Morning. It's a take on Peter Pan. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Peter Pan. I'm sure you are, but I don't know if you know that statement. But they're really, really impressive. Quality musicians, quality teenagers, and really want to get involved with what we're doing. I think that they understand the concept of creativity, especially being musicians, that they do this for the love of what they do. And they keep on contacting me all the time. When are we going to be shooting the web series? They want to be involved in the web series. So that's a lot of fun as well. And one thing that we did with them that, I'll go to it too, is we allowed them to pick their top 10 bands or songs, like you do a playlist, right? And I thought that they would pick somebody like Linkin Park, something like that is big. But they said, you know what, we want to give the people, the bands in Arizona, the same kind of exposure that we're getting. So they put together an all Arizona top 10 playlist, which is pretty cool. And some of the stuff's not for me, but that's not what this is about, right? This is about what they're into. And that was a lot of fun. So another big aspect of this is the educational component. One of the stories we did was with the Executive Vice President of Operations over at Grand Canyon University, Sarah Boder, and we did the do's and don'ts for applying to college. When you should do it, stuff like that. I'll play a quick video on that just because it's pretty quick, and I think it's
High
pretty
school students really
informative.
should start the college process once they get into high school. It becomes a very important time period where their academic performance makes a difference. It starts to matter. There are things that they can be doing to help prepare them for that transition. So a freshman, sophomore should be very focused on grade point average and academic involvement and community involvement. Once you reach your junior year, you really need to focus on narrowing down that list of schools that you're interested in. The spring of your junior year, you want to start reaching out to schools and getting some information and arranging for your campus visit. And as your senior year in the fall, you want to have your campus visit, get that list down to 1 or 2, and make that final decision in February, March.
So I always thought the educational side of it was very important. I had no idea. My guidance counselor in high school, I'm sure there's great guidance counselors out there, but where I was at, it wasn't the focus, right? So, you know, unicorns went to college, but I guess we didn't always go in the right order. So, but so I always felt that the educational aspect was very important as well. So some of the other stories that we have going on are, one of my favorite guys is Mike Trisick. And I'm sure you don't know the name, but I guarantee you know his work. So he is the main sculptor and supervisor for the original Jurassic Park movie. He also did the work for Terminator 2. His work has produced 3 Academy Awards for the Stan Winston Company. Also Day of the Dead. Some real cult classics here. So now he is retired and has, when I say retired, he's retired from movie making, and he has a gallery in Sedona. And what he does is these historic art pieces here. They're just incredible. Probably one of the most talented guys I've ever seen. And he talked about how he got his start. Another thing we do at Hashtag is, you know, if you want to become a special effects makeup person in the movies, how would you do that? And he got to the basics. It starts with drawing. It starts with working with clay. It starts with getting yourself out there and watching YouTube videos now. He said that's one of the biggest things. And he goes, when I saw King Kong when I was a kid, the biggest thing for me is I wanted to know how it was made. And that really started this hunger in him to lead down this path and this journey where he ended up working on Jurassic Park, Batman Returns, all these great movies that we know about. So I think it's important there, you know, to show students, especially in teens, that if you have a dream, you can achieve it because this person did too, and they're not really any different than you are. You know, he came from Pittsburgh, lower middle class family, worked hard, learned a craft, trial and error, and put himself in the right position to work on Hollywood movies. And he has an amazing gallery up in Sedona if you get the opportunity to go up and see it. And of course, food trucks, pretty crazy right now. They have TV shows, reality shows, stuff about them now. So we had the opportunity to go out to Lucha Libre and talk to Tim Cobb out there and really talked about the industry as in whole. I mean, he says one of the biggest things is a lot of people come out with this idea of a food truck. They've watched too much Food Network. They think they're going to open their window after spending all these thousands of dollars on buying a truck and that there's going to be a line just waiting for them. And it just doesn't work that way. So it's this kind of information that we're looking for, especially for people going into culinary arts or have a dream to open a food truck, things of that nature. And we also find out what it's like to work in a food truck in Phoenix. Well, I don't know where I'd be right now. But if people find out this is what they want to do, that's great. If they find out it's not what they want to do, that's just as great. So, I mean, that's my biggest thing is I think probably get the word out. Anyone else? Going, gone? Thank you so much. I appreciate it, you guys taking the time. And,